Coach Snow, Sheena Quick from Fox Sports 1340. What is the biggest area of improvement that you've noticed in the team, in your defense now versus the week 2 game in the first meeting?
Well, we're starting to learn the system better and starting to know the situations better. And then we're all getting better technically. The one area that we're struggling is third down. There's a lot of other areas I think we're really improving in, and we got to continue to improve third down. But there's a lot of things we've improved on.
Let's go to Phil Orbin and then Skylar Callahan.
Phil, when you're evaluating tape, how much can you tell if a guy is struggling because they're struggling or if it's because of a specific scheme? And obviously I'm talking about Tom Sunday night against the Saints.
Well, excuse me, who are you talking about?
Like Tom Brady obviously struggled on Sunday night against the Saints. And I'm curious, how much of that can you glean from it being what the Saints are doing and if he's just having an off night?
It's funny because a lot of times when you don't play as well as you'd like, a lot of it has to do with your opponent. And for some reason, New Orleans in both games has had, Tampa's number. And that happens sometimes. Why, I don't know. They match up real well. You could see New Orleans did a great job game planning, but they also did a nice job of making plays, especially on third down. And then, obviously Tampa's offense got behind the chain, really behind. So it forced them to do things they probably didn't want to do that early. So, there were a lot of variables involved in that game. I think the reason it went the way it did.
Hey, Phil, with a two-parter here. With AG out, do you see Jermaine Carter being a guy that can maybe play both Sam and Mike, backing up Tahir Whitehead? And then just kind of talk about his play from what you've seen the last couple of weeks. And then what have you seen from this linebacker unit throughout the season, things you like and things you don't like?
Well, yeah, Jermaine can play all three spots. So he plays some Sam backer to the field. He plays Mike and Will. So, he's done a good job learning the system, and he can do that. But, the linebacker crew, I think, has gotten better every week. If you watch them, they haven't missed a lot of tackles recently, and they're playing better. We missed Chen a little bit last week, but we're getting him back this week. So, they've just steadily improved. So happy with that group.
All right, let's go to Joe Person for the next question, followed by Elena Gutzenberg.
Hey, Phil, Joe Brady's already kind of starting to pop up on potential head coaching lists and that kind of thing. I know you've only been around him one season or half a season, but aside from the play calling, do you think has kind of the makeup to be a head coach, sooner rather than later?
Yeah, you bet. Joe has a lot of great qualities, especially for somebody as young as he is. When you hear him talk to the team and to the offense, he just commands what he's saying, and I think people follow him. So, I think Joe will do fine. A lot of young coaches have done well in this league right now, so I don't know why Joe couldn't do that.
Well, on that topic, Phil, you've seen this kind of trend of hiring young offensive guys. Does that sort of work in a guy like Joe's favor?
Oh, no question. And, especially he's done a great job wherever he's been with the quarterback position. And, that position really is the engine that runs this league. And so with his, he's able to develop quarterbacks and coach them real well. So that, that adds to a lot in this, who they're hiring today as head coaches.
Hey, Phil. I was curious, with getting Justin Burris back this week, Sam Franklin has done pretty well in his place. I was just curious how you think maybe what his role could look like with Justin coming back.
Well, Sam will still be in the mix with everything, and so will Justin. Justin hasn't played in a while, so I don't think it's fair to put him out there for every snap, right? So, we'll do it by committee, and it's good to have, be able to play more than, two guys. And we have different packages, too, that each one has a role in. So it'll work out great this week.
Would you think it'd be fair to say that Sam had, took the advantage of the opportunity he was given, though, and really showed that he deserves more playing time?
Oh, no question. Yeah, Sam is, and, he's got a long ways to go because he hasn't played the safety position that long. So, but he's done really a really good job in the games that he's played in. So, yeah, he deserves more time.
Go to Bill Voth and then Scott Fowler.
Hey, Phil, a lot of times when we look at pressure, we start looking on the outside. But I think over the years, covering the Panthers and playing Drew Brees twice a year, we learned that really with a guy like him, the pressure starts through the middle. Is that the same thing with a guy like Tom?
Yeah. And Ryan in our, division, he's the same way. You got to get in the paint and make them move because they like to step up into the pocket and throw the football. Once you make them slide, they're not as good throwing the football. So getting in the paint is critical. And, you just don't sack them very often, these guys, because the ball's gone. So you have to affect the throws by affecting their throwing motion. You may not sack them a bunch, but you got to affect their throwing motion. So, it's really important to push the paint.
Can you tell if Derek yet is getting a little frustrated that he's not on the board with the sack?
Yeah, he is. We all would be, right, in his shoes. But it'll come. He just got to keep working.
Go ahead, Scott.
Oh, thanks. Sorry, my internet went out for a second. Coach, can you hear me? Are you
You
all
bet.
right?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. We asked you about Jeremy Chinn. It seems like every week you mentioned you will get him back, you think, this week. And I just wonder again if you could speak about his attributes and if he's come along quicker than you thought he would.
Well, I don't think anything surprises me with Jeremy physically. He's so gifted, and normally those guys get, when they get hurt, they come back a lot faster over the years. But Jeremy just adds a lot on the field, how fast he plays and physical, and with the energy that he plays with, and we can play him in almost every package that we have. We do play him in every package that we have. So, he's a big dimension for us.
What do you call that position that he plays in your mind?
Well, he plays a lot of different positions. It depends on the package, So, he plays Sam linebacker. We have another position called Grizzly, and then he plays the Will linebacker. So he does a variety of things for us.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go to Josh Klein and then Deshaun Brown.
If I could just follow up on that, what does the Grizzly do? And then I have another one after that.
Well, it's just, when you see him playing deep thirds and halves, and it's just a different package that we run in a three-man front. So, but he's got a variety of roles, and he's gotten better with each role each week. So, it'll be fun to watch him finish the season.
Is there anyone else that plays that Grizzly role? Who took that spot last week?
Sam did. Franklin.
On the Bucks specifically, obviously they added Antonio Brown. I'm curious what you saw from him last week on tape, and if you think that he is back to the same receiver that he's kind of always been, and then how much stress that puts on, theoretically the nickel corner or whoever would have to line up against somebody that's the third wide receiver option.
Yeah, it was his first game back, right? And he's been off a little while. So, but he looked fine in the game, and I'm sure he's, this week he'll really pick it up. The second week after coming back, I think you generate a lot more energy and your body gets used to playing again. But he's a problem. He's a matchup problem, and they've got a nice receiving crew and good tight ends. And their backs are their second leading receiver. So they've got a lot of weapons to throw to, and Tom uses them.
Coach, this is Deshaun with Channel 9. I wanted to ask, you mentioned the struggles that you've seen on third down, and then also some of the success that the Saints were able to accomplish last week on third down. What, if anything, do you take away from what they were able to do that may help this week?
Well, there's certain down and distances that we kind of all do the same thing in the league. It comes down to whether or not you make plays or not. So, that'll be the issue. And another problem we've had on third down is we've had too many penalties on third down. So we just got to get better, and we're working at it, and it'll eventually come. So we'll be prepared for third down this week, and we've got to make our plays and try to stay away from the penalties.
Let's go to David Newton, followed by Jonathan Alexander.
Hey, Phil. Hope you're having a good day.
Yep.
Travis Kelce had a big game against you guys last week, and obviously not having Chen and Burris back, I guess, had an impact. You got Gronkowski this week. What are the challenges with Gronk versus a player like Kelce, and how does having Chen and Burris back help with what you plan?
Well, it helps a lot. Like Burris has been playing and Chen the best tight ends when we've played them, and we've played some real good ones. So, not having them last week did affect that with Kelce. But Gronk's a good player. He's been around a long time. He's crafty and he's hard to stop. And they'll target him on third downs, especially the down and distance where he can separate. Is that 3rd and 2 to 6 area? He's highly targeted. So he's still a valuable offensive weapon for Brady.
Hey, Phil. Hope you're doing well. This may be far from your mind, but do you think Jeremy Chinn is deserving to be in serious consideration for Defensive Rookie of the Year?
I can't comment on the other rookies. I'm so into what we're doing in our players, but I mean Jeremy has played really well for a rookie, so. If he wins it, he deserves it, and I take nothing away from any other rookie in the league. I'm sure they're having some, some players are having some great seasons too. So, but I'm pulling for Jeremy if he's in the running.